Greeting all. My name is Professor Jyoti Priya, and in today's video we are going to be discussing the management of conflict that can be found in a work of fiction. To begin with, all great stories must have conflict. This is the video. Without conflict, the story really wouldn't be worth reading. With most character phases and to see how he or she solves those problems. No problem, no story. So, today we are going to be taking notes. The topic of these notes is management of conflict. Here the content what we will see. Introduction, views, characteristics, sources, functional and dysfunctional, levels and types, ways to managing conflict, conclusion. Next one is objectives. Our main conflict management objective should be to reduce the harmful effects of workplace incompatibility swiftly and effectively. So understanding and appreciating conflict, eliminating and avoiding conflict, reducing negative effects of conflict, managing conflicts. Conflict is universal, conflict is inevitable, conflict cannot be totally eliminated, all conflict can be managed, resolved. Next one is learning outcomes. Learning outcomes tell learners what they will know, understand or be able to do at the end of a block of instruction. If you complete the given assignments for this chapter, you will understand the nature of conflicts, understand the role of negotiations in conflict. So next one is intro. Conflict is a disagreement, contest or dispute between people who differ in their ideas, needs, goals, values or beliefs. A difference between two or more ideas, wishes, etc. Many women have to cope with the conflict between their career and their family. Next one is how the view explains our differences. So between two person, one person say, no, this is the 4. Another person say, no, this is 3. So that time the conflict arise. Views on conflict. Traditional view, human relations view, interrogational's view. Traditional's view, usually caused by poor communication, a lack of trust, or a failure to be responsible to the needs of others. So, stamp it out. Human relations view. It may even be beneficial on occasion. Learn to live with it. So, tolerate it. Interactional's view. Conflict keeps us viable and creative. But there are two kinds of conflict, functional and dysfunctional. So functional conflict improves long-term group performance. So encourage it. Cara of conflict. Cara is a process. Conflict occurs in layers. So conflict is inevitable, and conflict is a normal part of life. It's perception and opposition, interdependence and interaction. So conflict inherently involves some sense of struggle or incompatibility or pursuit different among values, goals or desires. And next one is source of conflict. It is uncountable. Differences in information, beliefs, values, interest and lack of cooperation, trust, poorly defined goals. So these all are source of conflict. And next one is functional versus dysfunctional conflict. It is the opposite reaction. So functional conflict is positive and dysfunctional conflict known as negative. So conflict that supports the goals of the group and improves its performance. That is a functional conflict. And next one is dysfunctional conflict. Conflict that hinders group performance. I remember one thing, it can be found in a work of fiction. Already I said this. So let's see that.
Hey! What time is it?
We have to get started. I've got to study for another test. Jenna texted me and said she would be late.
Again? I had her in another group and she was either late for every meeting or didn't even bother showing up. She barely got her work in. And I had to do most of it for her when I compiled the work at the end.
What did we talk about last time?
You were supposed to have your outline done for your part and we were going to share them today.
Oh? When did we decide that?
Seriously? Well, since it looks like I'm the only one who did that, let's talk about how we want to format the presentation. I think we need to make a PowerPoint. We need to lead off with our reasoning for doing the study. Then we need to show the statistics. Probably using the pie chart, because that is the most effective at presenting the data.
But I think that it might be a good idea to lead with the statistics first.
No, I don't think so. That's a dumb idea.
What do you think, Tony? Ugh. I'm out of here.
Okay. It's decided then.
Hey! What did I miss?
I hope you all understand this. And next one is levels and types of conflict. Levels of conflict and types of conflict. There are 3 types and 3 levels. One is organizational conflict. It is within and between organization conflict. Next one is group conflict, within and between group conflict. And next one is individual conflict, within and between individuals conflict. So let's see one by one. Individual level conflict and its types. Individual level conflict can have both negative and positive consequences on a team and its team members. It is a 2 type. One is inter and another one is intra. So first one is intra-individual conflict. It refers to a conflict within an individual. And next one is inter-individual conflict. When 2 individuals are in confrontation with each other, it is called inter-individual conflict. And next one is group level conflict. A group consists of 2 or more persons who are in interaction with each other, have a well-defined structure of role and status relations, and have your system values and norms of behavior for the smooth working of the group. One is intra and another one is intergroup. So intra-group conflict arises when differences crop up between the members of the group. And next one is intergroup. So intergroup conflict may also be stated in terms of organizational conflict, like absence of joint decision making, difference in goals, difference in perception. And next one is organizational conflict. Organizational conflict can be between the buyer and seller organization. First one is the intra-organizational conflict and one is inter-organizational conflict. So intra-organizational mean horizontal, vertical, line and staff. For example, horizontal conflict mean HR department versus finance department. It is a horizontal conflict between the departments. And inter-organizational conflict mean between organizations pursuing similar objectives, between government, agency and organizations, between head office and manufacturing unit. So these all are inter-organizational conflict. So next one is ways to managing conflict. So how to managing conflict? Talk with the other person, focus on behavior and events, Listen carefully, identify points of agreement and disagreement, develop your plan to work on each conflict, follow through on your plan, build on your success. So these all are ways to managing conflict, but we have to see on video for this.
Okay, so if you put a bunch of people together and ask them to achieve something, the chances are there will be a disagreement or two. Conflict is a natural part of working in teams, and it can occur for a number of reasons. For example, it could be a conflict caused by processes, overlapping roles, or differences in opinion. Sometimes conflicts can be caused by external influences, but of course the classic reason is interpersonal conflict. Now, when a conflict occurs, there are steps you can take to solve it constructively. The correct way would be to take a step back and ask yourself some challenging questions. Start by asking yourself, why is there a conflict in the first place? Simply by thinking about the cause of the conflict could be enough to give you the solution. It may help to write it down or discuss it with someone, but if that doesn't shed any light, then try seeing it from the other person's point of view. Best-selling author Stephen Covey uses the phrase, "Seek first to understand, then to be understood." By this he means if you understand the other person's point of view, then you can get your point across much easier. Finally, try to remember what's really important. What are your priorities? Is your point of view in line with the overall objectives of the team, and are you being true to your principles? Try to keep emotions out of it and keep conversations professional, but most importantly, be focused on a solution. Don't dwell on the conflict or hold grudges. Be focused on finding a win-win outcome.
I think you like this video and you understand this, how to manage in conflict. So we give chance to others. We give the chance to others. We have humor sense and get help from others. Compromise, both give up something. So avoid that situation. These all are managing conflict. And next one is conclusion. We must try to live with this type of conflict. If the conflict is properly handled, it can be constructive in achieving the result. I conclude this session with one slogan. 10% of conflict is due to difference in opinion, and 90% is due to delivery and tone of voice. So be polite. Thank you guys.